Akame ga Kill Episode 9, Kill the Battle Fanatic. Definitely an awesome episode because we get Esdeath and her brand new team, the Jaegers, which I think whether you saw the Japanese version or the English dub, you instantly thought of Attack on Titan because ever since that anime, if anything is called Jaeger, you think Attack on Titan. Like, that's just how it is. It doesn't matter if it's live action from America, from Japan. It does not matter anymore because, like, if you're a nerdy anime fan like me and you saw Attack on Titan, it's just like, oh, Jaeger, Attack on Titan. And it's just going to be that way forever now. So it's like, man, everything's going to be like, oh, that makes me think of Attack on Titan. No matter what show it is, like I said, American or Japanese or any country, period. If it's got Jaeger in it, it's going to be like Attack on Titan. But aside from that, totally different. Nothing else related to Attack on Titan. But it was cool that we have this new team, which is now, if I'm remembering right, it's like 6 people instead of just the 3 beasts. And we also got a new character who was. It was insanely obvious that this character was basically the evil version of Tatsumi. He comes into the town as just like this local kid. They call him a hillbilly in this version, which I think is really funny. But he's got all these fish, which were somehow alive. That was very weird to me. Like, how are these fish even remotely alive right now? But he has all these fish and stuff, and he goes in and he has narration, and he's really silly, and he meets all these people, and I love his introduction to the guy, and like basically the what I saw when I saw the mask. Now those masks are kind of tied to Borderlands for me, so I was like, oh, he's basically like a big psycho from Borderlands. And his introduction to that guy, he freaked out. And it's like, all right, where am I on this map? And it's like, ah, crap. So he thinks everybody's weird. He meets all these different people. We get Seiryu back with full on metal arms, which is kind of awesome. And like a totally different outfit. She was almost dressed like a ninja to me because she was in like full green, and it wasn't like it was like nothing else. I mean, green isn't the best ninja color, of course, but it was like just one full color suit, and then her metal arms are the only other thing that stuck out, and of course her orange hair. But she's in this team. We have the guy who is a part of this incineration corps, apparently, who is also apparently really shy. We have the like very flamboyant doctor character, which I thought was really funny. We have Akame's sister, who is super funny when he tried to introduce himself. He's like, okay, she's the first person he saw outside of the gas mask dude, and he's like, she seems normal. He's like, hey, and she's like, don't touch my cookies, and it's like, what are you talking about? So I loved that. That was really funny. We got to see another character as well. The guy basically had like a little. It looked like he had like a wing coming off of his hair. I think it was just his hair sticking up, and it was like a white piece in his normally gold hair. But I like the team. It seems interesting. I don't know what powers they're gonna have or anything like that, but they definitely look super fancy in all their suits and stuff. So I like that. That was kind of cool because I know suits always look fancy, so it's just cool. But I like that. We also got a flashback of Esdeath when she was much younger, and her working with the boss of Night Raid. So we got to see her and the boss working together, which was pretty cool. And we don't really see the end of that. We just see Esdeath being pretty crazy. Like or even when she was young, as they put it, like she seemed like she could probably be in her early 30s, I guess, just because of how they're kind of doing the character. She could be in her early 30s now, and I guess she would have been early 20s then, or probably still like 18, 19 during that flashback. So even then, she had like the 3 beasts with her. So it was pretty interesting that they specify like, oh, she was so young and stuff like that. But it was cool. Like, we got to see her use her ice powers, and she like froze the water. I thought that looked really awesome. And then she's killing off this native tribe and stuff. And then the boss is like, she can't stand around for that. Like, she can't accept the order to kill these natives who have already lost the battle. But she also can't just stand around and do nothing. So we don't see the end of that flashback. And I'm thinking maybe that's how she lost her arm. And that's why she has the robot arm now. Or whatever it is specifically. Might not exactly be robot. But that might be why that happened. Because she fought against Esdeath. And also the 3 beasts as well. I would assume she took on all of them at the same time. Or even if it was just Esdeath. She survived, but she lost her arm. And it makes sense. I think that would be a perfect reason for how she lost her arm, because Esdeath is so incredibly powerful. So I feel like that's why they didn't show that, and we'll get that answer. Maybe not in the next episode, but maybe a couple episodes down the line when they, run into each other again. That might be how we get that answer, which I think would be pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see. But I like this new group. Mostly characters. Well, I guess I can't say mostly characters. Mostly new characters, but one of which, Saryu, we've actually seen fight. Akame's sister, I think we can all assume exactly, how skilled she's going to be. And she also has a katana as well that is an Imperial Arms. I'm assuming because it has its own name. So I'm assuming she has an Imperial Arms that's supposed to be like almost just like unbelievably sharp beyond anything else in existence. So that's kind of cool. We got to see the other characters fight a little bit, so that was nice. Like it was just a little training scene, but it was nice. So we have this new big group to go against Night Raid, which is now unfortunately down 2 members. But we may or may not be seeing new people come in because the boss is going and she's going to try to recruit new members for Night Raid. But, we'll just have to see how all that stuff plays out. But I like this new evil group. They all look super fancy, and like their final scene where it's at a weird angle and everyone's just dressed up in suits. And I want to see what this character Wave is going to do. Because, like I said, it was obvious that he was the opposite of Tatsumi. He's going to be the villain working for Esdeath. And it just has me curious. They did it for a very obvious reason. It's like, okay, they have that. They have the scene where they're cooking and everything, and the big guy's wearing like the Kumasan apron, just like Akame does. And it's like, all right. As soon as he came in, I was like, the parallels were automatic. It was like, this is evil Tatsumi, but he might end up becoming a good guy. I don't know. Maybe he'll realize that the capital is kind of bad, and he was recruited before he knew all of the craziness that was happening. So I don't know. Like, of course, they make him super likable because they make him almost exactly like Tatsumi. And it's like, I hope he doesn't get killed because I like him as a good character and he doesn't really know what's happening, but neither does Saryu. I assume. I mean, she knows that Ogre was killed and that's about it. And she just killed Night Raid, and that's pretty much where her mind is. So maybe he'll end up being the same, where it's like they could totally be good characters and you could tell if they knew who the true villains were, but they'll just end up being the villains and they just won't ever find out the truth, and that could be the case. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I thought that was really awesome, and meeting these new characters and seeing the very minuscule fight scenes. And then we have the ending of this episode where Tatsumi, he fights this bull dude who I was really trying to figure out, is he actually like got that head? Was that his actual head? Because they've never shown anything like that in the whole series until just now. Like everyone has been human or they've been monsters, and then I was like, here comes this hybrid thing, and I was like, where did that just come from? Because everyone's been human, and that's it. And he just came in like boom, bullhead, and I was like, where did that come from? So that just kind of just flew in there on me like out of nowhere. I was surprised by that one. But I enjoyed that scene. It was actually pretty awesome because Tatsumi, not only does he have like a like the jacket, I actually thought that looked pretty sweet, but he was in like a totally different mode than he normally is. Like we've seen him serious during fights, but this lasted even longer than that because during the fights, he just kills people. So it's just like dodge, boom, and there goes somebody chopped in half again. And the only other time we really saw him like angry like this was when he was with Leone, and he really only had one line during that scene when he dodged the one guy. I was like, you gotta be faster than that, Dick. And then he chopped that guy in half. So that's really it. Those are like the fight scenes. And of course, in the last episode, it wasn't it wasn't even as dramatic as that. It's like when he fights people that he can easily beat, he gets almost more evil than he does when he's fighting against people that he can't easily beat. And that's how I felt. And I like that. I think that looks pretty cool. So he's dodging and stuff, and he just destroys this guy. And it's like, all right, I'm going to get money. I'm going to meet this Esdeath woman and see, what she's about. And then it's like, nope, he gets a dog collar, and she's basically going to rape him. Like, that's what it seems like. She's like, I've fallen in love with you, and I'm just going to take you back and just bang you with, without consent, pretty much. So who knows where that's leading. He's just taken away, and now he's with them. So he's gonna kind of have to play around. He might get close to these people because, of course, he already knows Saryu, and then I'm sure he and Wave are gonna be good buddies. And then he and the guy who's the cook, who's basically Akame's replacement, they're gonna be friends as well. So it's just interesting. Like, I don't know what the heck is going to take place, how long he's going to be with Esdeath. I know it's not going to be permanent, but I'm very curious. And this episode was definitely pretty fun. Like, we had some other stuff as well in the beginning with Tatsumi training with the other guy's name. I still can't remember. I didn't even bother to learn, to be totally honest. I kind of suck at it. But, the two of them are training, which we got a really funny scene out of that, where Leone's like, he's done like half as many push-ups as Tatsumi, and the comments like, well, yeah, there's a considerable size difference between me and Leone, and she just gets hit right in the head. It was pretty funny. Mine has also come back. She's completely healed now. Her arm is feeling better, so she'll be back in the game pretty soon once they have, whatever the next fight is going to end up being. But it was fairly simple. It was, it was a lot of focus on them because, of course, we got, the storytelling and stuff like that. But this episode was definitely meant to focus on Esdeath and her character. We got the flashback. We got her new team. We got the scene of her at the grave of her former three beasts. And we now have her in her weird love, falling in love storyline and like her list. And of course, as soon as it was read off, it was obvious once again, just like with the parallels between Wave and Tatsumi, the list was automatic. Like, that's going to be Tatsumi. I knew it as soon as they read it. Like, he has to be young, preferably out of the city instead of from within the city, very strong, this and that. I was like, it's going to be Tatsumi. This is where it's going to happen. I didn't think she would kidnap the kid and be like, we're going to talk more in my bedroom. But that's just how it goes. Like, so I don't know what's going to happen in this next episode. But this is definitely a fun one. Like these new characters, not too excited to see them fight because, of course, someone has to die. And in some cases, both people can die, like Bulat and his former mentor. So, I'm not exactly looking forward to that. And, of course, Seiryu, jeez, that girl is insane. I thought she was kind of normal and just, gusto, but when she sees Night Rage, she changes, and that's really crazy. Like, it's scary. And that little dog, so cute, and then just a monster, and it's just messed up. So, kind of looking forward to it because it's going to be crazy, some crazy fight scenes, but at the same time, with someone having to die, and with us already having lost two heroes, the good guys aren't 100% guaranteed to win. So it's like, I kind of don't want them to fight because I just want everyone to live, but things are going to get crazy. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the next episode is probably going to be more comedy and story-based, which I'm totally fine with, but looking forward to it. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, I know we just basically just met all of these characters that have joined Esdeath Jaeger team. But who's your favorite? Because, of course, Wave gets the most because of his parallel to Tatsumi is like the evil version. But, and actually, I just thought about this, and I wouldn't know this unless I was in my art classes right now. Blue and orange are actually opposite colors on like the color spectrum. Blue is the exact opposite of orange, so I find that kind of funny too. I didn't even think of that, to be totally honest, but orange and blue are exact opposites too. So even though they're opposite colors, you can once again parallel. So that's kind of cool. I didn't think of that. That was probably, I'm assuming that was intentional, but it didn't occur to me until just now. Like, oh yeah, thanks. That's for once that art class has actually helped me with totally useless information for you guys. But I want to know who your favorite member is. Mine, of course, is Wave, just because he got the most, and he's the most normal character. I would say Seiryu, if she hadn't killed one of the heroes, and kind of scared me. She really did kind of freak me out when she got so angry and stuff. I was like, that's like, her evil twin is just in her almost, and it was just so crazy. But for me right now, it's Wave. I do like the guy who's shy, but like super buff and stuff, just because that's a funny opposite where, it's like, oh, he's super shy and stuff like that, but he's like just the big buff rip dude who also doesn't wear a shirt, but he's like the shy person. You would think he'd be shy and more than just talking with people. He wouldn't, go without a shirt. But, for now it's Wave, and we'll see how that kind of plays out as the stuff goes on with the characters. But I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.